What's a popular thing that you have literally no interest in whatsoever? Any sort of singing reality TV, such as The Voice or The X Factor. Couldn't care less. That's how I feel about the dancing shows such as Dancing with the Stars. That fucking dog filter on Snapchat. AKA the basic white girl filter. AKA the gay bottom filter. Those hoverboards, first of all it's not a hoverboard, it has wheels for fuck's sake. Second of all, a Segway without a handle is still a fucking Segway. I hate them because for some reason they put the tag unicycle on them and they flood Craigslist with them, so I can't find actual unicycles. That's one of the oddest and most unique complaints I've ever heard. The entire Kardashian/Jenner family. YouTube drama. Candy Crush. I don't know how popular it is anymore, but I remember for a while everyone was playing it. I did not get why people loved it so much, it was just basically Bejeweled. Twitter. Never had an account. Always thought it was overrated. Twitter is great to get help from companies who are otherwise ignoring you. I made a Twitter just to bitch about my poor experience with United. Losing a whole day of vacation due to a cancellation because they were lacking staff. And then they rebooked me for a super long convoluted flight itinerary the next day and wouldn't even put my boyfriend and I together despite seats being available for it. After complaining on Twitter, they hooked me up with a more direct flight and better seats. Not sure why the desk agent couldn't have just done that to begin with, but Twitter is definitely effective in getting better customer service as a last resort. That's literally the only use I've ever had for it though. The Walking Dead. People love it so much but it just bores me to death. I have no interest in seeing a show about zombies and people dealing with drama. Instagram. I'm just not that crazy about sharing pictures and I'm not any good at taking them either. Greater than I'm not any good at taking them either. You would fit right in. Beyoncé and her new album. Beyoncé and any of her albums. Famous people's babies. I barely even care about my friends' children, and I'm supposed to care about Princess Kate Beckinsale or whatever's? Football. Who do you support? I don't care. Oh. Having children. Casual sex. I have no desire to have sex with someone that I'm not interested in getting to know. Pinterest. Honorable mentions, Snapchat and Twitter. Beats headphones. Football. I have absolutely no problem with other people enjoying and watching it, but I find it very dull to watch. People react like I'm some sort of monster when I say I don't want to watch Euro 2016. Edit, Americans, we get it, you call it soccer. The rest of the world seems to have agreed that it's called football. And since that's what it's called where I'm from, the UK, I'll stick to calling it football. Please stop with your witty comments telling me it's called soccer. Lol, thought you mean football but you meant football. Game of Thrones. I know what it is, I just do not care enough to watch/read it and don't want to hear about it. It got so bad on here a few weeks ago I filtered out any mention of Hodor. Hating popular things. Really any sport. Tough to be a guy and not like sports. Beyoncé. I cannot understand the worship at all. Overwatch. It looks cool, but it's not my cup of tea. Edit, thank you for taking away my gold virginity, kind stranger. As a white early 30s female in the South, I have no interest in The Bachelor, Starbucks, overpriced handbags, Lily Pulitzer, wearing pearls, wearing my initials on everything, CrossFit, yoga, and anything gluten-free. I very rarely have much in common with other moms at my kids' extracurriculars. I do however love Disney and Pop-Tarts, so I'm great at conversing with their kids. TV in general, I get bored so fast watching stuff, I need to be doing something, so I usually just play video games instead. Facebook. Never had an account, never going to. I always get so aggravated when Facebook wants me to sign in. I don't have an account, I just want to see a business page. Or when a website wants you to sign up using Facebook greater than or literally any competition. To enter, simply, like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, give us your full internet browsing history, sacrifice your first child. And you're in the draw to win $500. Tattoos. I just don't get it. There isn't anything I like enough to make it a permanent part of my body. I once heard a heavily tattooed man compare tattoos to scars. They're reminders of a certain time of your life, a way you used to be that you don't want to lose touch with. Sure, that Hello Kitty tattoo might be embarrassing when you're 30, or 50, or 80. But isn't that kind of the point? To keep yourself humble, to stay in touch with your past self, to retain some sliver of who you once were lest your memories become rose-tinted with time? We should all be slightly ashamed of who we were when we were young and foolish, but considering that we are consistently becoming less young and foolish with each passing day, isn't it important to remember that to a past version of ourselves it wasn't foolish, but was in fact incredibly valuable and important to us? For the record, I have no tattoos myself, but I totally understand the appeal and wholeheartedly disagree with anyone who claims that you will regret that when you're older. Getting offended by every little thing seems like a popular thing to do nowadays. I don't have the energy to be angry all the time. Selfies. Edit, I am sure that this derives from me being a 30-year-old dad, but I sincerely don't get the appeal. Joking aside, the ugly comments, whether about yourselves or about others, are what drive me to spend a great deal of time teaching my young children that what people look like and the differences between themselves and others are all things that we live with and move on. No need to bring attention to someone if they don't want it. Sorry. Like I said, I spend a great deal of effort driving this home to my kids so they know not to take things too seriously or be malicious towards themselves and others. I'm just ugly. Dabbing. What the actual fuck, people? You're basically fake sneezing. I know it's just a trend, but it is a popular thing right now. Can someone explain this to me? The only definition of dabbing that I'm familiar with involves marijuana. The only definition that I'm familiar with involves lightly pressing something like a towel on something else like a stain. Clash of Clans or any related games. 2016 presidential election. I have voted in every election I've been eligible to vote in, since I turned 18 in 2003. I am registered but to no party. I've voted for Republicans and Democrats almost equally. And I will not vote this November. I could not give less of a fuck. We just went through months of debates, caucuses, and primaries, and these too is what we get? I refuse to be part of it. I voted against President Obama twice, but if Congress amended the Constitution to allow a third term I would be the first in line to vote for him now. May as well vote for a third-party candidate. If you're gonna throw your vote away, this is the year to do it. Alcohol. Unnecessary calories, dehydration, bad choices, vomit, hangovers, and scientifically proven to stunt creativity. Overall one of the most boring and useless drugs. It helps mask crippling depression. Anime. Edit, thanks to all for the input and suggestions. I'll try to give as many as I can a fair shot. The problem with anime is that most of the well-known ones are shit. They have the same stupid plot about an average-looking guy that just so happens to be completely overpowered and well-liked by every big-titted character for 100 miles. Damn, I hate those, they ruin everything. Edit, fixed wording, made it sound like all well-known are bad when that is not what I meant. Sorry for confusion. Why you gotta shit on Bleach like that, bruh? Law and Order. That show is just so long and depressing. Why? Because in the criminal justice system sexually based offenses are considered especially heinous. In New York City, the dedicated detectives who investigate these vicious felonies are members of an elite squad known as the Special Victims Unit. These are their stories. The Beatles. I appreciate what they did for music and understand their historical significance, but I don't like them at all. Game of Thrones. Sorry, but I get attached to fictional characters really easily, and I've heard major characters die every episode or something. I don't want to be crying every week. This is probably one of the best reasons I've heard for not watching Game of Thrones. Emo, the number of characters that dies greatly over-exaggerated, but there's still enough that I could understand not wanting to get attached to the characters. Fantasy football. I already have a full-time job. The Kardashians. Singing competition reality shows always missed me. People would get as excited about them as sports. I love some sports but never got the singing show craze. Each to their own. Carrot Go Pens. The TV show Friends. So many women, and other people, probably too, my age obsess about it. I've caught bits when flipping channels, but never got into. At least Seinfeld was funny. Weed or drinking. Actually any drugs in general. Orange is the New Black. America Idol. The Voice. America's Got Talent. Saying Famlet Bay or any of that crap. I'm a guy and I have no interest in sports. Going to parties/clubs. I barely go to those things, and when I do it's 100% peer pressure. Just go out, fuck up your nice clothes, blow all your money, meet 0 people, talk about garbage and go home. It'd probably be fun if I could pull a girl every single time, but I can't, so fuck that shit. I'd rather play a game or watch a film. At least I know I'll enjoy that. Joining ISIS. Apparently this bullshit is getting popular. League of Legends. I am a hardcore gamer, and I think that game is a huge waste of time. Never gave it a try. Never will. Edit, typo, because I played Overwatch for 9 hours and was tired. Comic book movies. So every movie for the past decade pretty much. My fellow male's obsession with big asses on women. Bruh, sheepoo from there. How can you just not want to bite/slap that big booty? Selfies. I have a good friend who takes a selfie at least once every 5 minutes. She's a gorgeous girl but has next to no self-esteem due to her weight. She relies on compliments on Snapchat and Facebook to feel good about herself. I can't have a conversation with her without her losing interest and completely ignoring me while she takes a goddamn selfie. It's such a socially acceptable form of narcissism and I just don't get it. Liked what you saw? Hit like, subscribe and the bell icon for more crazy Reddit content.